Hi, Rebekah. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's really lovely to see you.
Hi, Kat. Yeah, thank you so much for having me today.
We're really excited about a new podcast we're currently producing based on your Standby CPD article, Posterior Myocardial Infarction, Starting from the Back. And we thought it would be a good opportunity to have a catch up with you about this and many of the other articles you've written for us. So you've written 4 articles for Standby CPD so far. I know we've got another one in the pipeline. Can you remember how you first heard about Standby CPD?
Sure. So it's as simple as when I was at university, I was doing my technician course, and there was a pinboard for ideas for CPD, and there was just one Standby CPD article booklet up on a pinboard, and I picked it up, had a flick, and here we are.
And what was the first article you wrote for Standby CPD? And what prompted you to do so?
So the first one was paracetamol overdose, I'm pretty sure. And it was a topic I was already interested in, because it was one that we actually went to a lot more than I certainly thought we would end up going to. And it wasn't always about someone doing it deliberately. It was actually sometimes an accidental overdose. So being someone who really loves finding out why is this the case, it was a topic I was interested in, and so I wanted to find out why, essentially. And yeah, it was really interesting. I enjoyed doing it.
So do you find that's how you normally start the writing process, by finding a topic that you'd like to do more research into or find a bit more out about?
So definitely, the beginning stories are almost always jobs that I've been to, or at least based in them. Although recently I've noticed that there's a theme of food in them as well, which is definitely me eking out in the story. I love my food. But the topics themselves, so it's important for me to find one that I'm interested in. But it's also, I think, important to find one that the readers actually want to learn about, because that's the whole point. So once I've found one that I'm interested in, it's totally about, right, I'm going to go away, I'm going to find out why, I'm going to read. But it also means that my practice is different. So it is always a good thing to do for me, let alone everybody else who gets to read them.
What other writing projects have you worked on, or do you have any in the pipeline?
So beyond Standby CPD, nothing formal. So I enjoy making up bedtime stories for my niece, but I don't think that counts as something in the pipeline. So certainly at the moment, it's predominantly this. There's a few other things I've thought of that might be, again, beneficial to my colleagues in various services across the country. So I'm looking into writing some proposals for those, but otherwise, not really.
Would you have any kind of pearls of wisdom for any budding authors out there, now that you're a seasoned Standby author?
I'd probably say just go for it. Just try it. If you enjoy the whys, if you enjoy the subject, that's so important. If you don't enjoy writing essays, it's not for you, and that's okay. But if you love doing the research, love finding out why, even if it's just for yourself, and you haven't thought someone else might be interested in the research I do. But it's also saying that what they see as a Standby CPD article is very polished. And if they saw the first draft that was just me, it doesn't really look like that. So actually, to have the courage of, if you're the writer, you're not the polisher. So don't be afraid to write something even if you don't think it's polished, because that's the whole point of the editing process and editors. And so that's not your job as a writer. It's basically what I'd say. So just give it a go. If you enjoy it, do it.
And a bit of a different question. Would you say there's been any one person in particular who's had a big influence on you, perhaps in your career or maybe also in your writing?
So I think not necessarily in my career, but equally I would 100% blame my secondary school biology teacher for where I am. So she made me fall in love with anatomy and physiology. I mean, photosynthesis was a struggle, but the human side of it, 100%. And I followed that through to university and then through to my current job. And she always encouraged me to find out why. So I think that actually, yes, I can blame her. Yeah, again, you know, if anyone's thinking about even just maybe doing it and, I don't know, they're going to think my writing's rubbish. So if I'd thought that, I never would have sent here's my paracetamol overdose story, do you like it? And I wouldn't be here, and I wouldn't have written 4, and I wouldn't have another one that I'm writing. And so the reality will be is it's probably not rubbish if you enjoy doing it. And these guys are expert polishers, so just let them polish.